All right, boys and girls, we are ready to print our cityscapes on our beautiful painted papers. So what you're gonna do is you guys are each going to, you're gonna be sharing a piece. This is a piece of plexiglass and this is a brayer, okay? It kind of looks like a paint roller, but it's the proper term for it is brayer. And we're gonna be printing these with ink, okay? So ink is different from paint in that it's kind of sticky. And if we used paint, our paint would push down into all of those areas that we pressed into the foam. Whereas ink, since it's sticky, it will only sit on the surface of our foam and will stay out of all of those lines that we push down. And then that's what allows us to be able to see all of those details whenever it's transferred onto paper. So I am going to help you guys. We're gonna put out just a little strip of ink. And I may be assisting you guys printing to kind of like accomplish that a little bit faster. So you're gonna be, me or you, we're gonna be putting out a little strip of ink, and notice that it's not any wider than the brayer. And then I'm gonna roll it out. So I'm gonna pull my brayer back, pick it up, go back to the top. Pull my brayer down, pick it up, go back to the top. I'm gonna do that a bunch of times going this direction. And I'm never just leaving it on here and going back and forth. That's not spreading out the ink and evening it out, which is what we're trying to do. Then I'm gonna pick up my brayer and go this way, and I'm gonna do the same thing. So pick it up, go back to the top, pick it up, go back to the top, and then go back this way. So you can hear that I'm picking it up and setting it back down every time. And look at this, I'm keeping it in a nice, neat little square. That is very important. You do not want to spread the ink out everywhere because it dries in the air, and if you spread it out really thin, first of all, you don't know where it all is. Second of all, it dries so much faster. It's a huge waste. So we want to keep it in this nice little square, okay? Okay, so once we have the ink, it's all over the outside of the brayer, we are then going to ink up our cityscape. And I believe that it would be easiest if you kind of tilt it to the side so that you can run the brayer up and down it like this. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And I'm probably gonna end up getting a little bit of ink on the table, and I'm not gonna worry about that at this moment. We will just simply wipe that up with sponges when we're all done. So the same thing that I was doing whenever I was getting the ink on my brayer, so pull it down, pick it up, pull it down, pick it up, do that a couple times. I'm going to, a couple times have to lift up the brayer on my cityscape to make sure that I got ink all over the whole thing. And you want to see that the whole surface is really like covered and sticky, and because if it's not, when you go to stamp it on your paper, it won't show up in those areas, okay? If there isn't enough ink there, it won't show up. Okay, so here I'm gonna start with my first paper, and I am going to be setting it down. We want it to be the darkest wherever the sky is. So for me, this is my sky. It's the red and purple. So I'm gonna pick it up very carefully, just holding it on the sides, and I am going to flip it over, and I'm gonna align it with the bottom of the sky. And you have to work kind of quickly because, like I said, the ink does dry in the air, and I have it in a good spot. You also need a paper towel. I'm gonna set this down, and we're gonna do what we call burnishing. Burnishing is basically just rubbing the back of something, transferring it from one side to the other. So we wanna transfer that ink. So I'm gonna use the palm of my hand here, and I'm gonna do little circular motions. I often see a lot of kids hitting this. That does nothing, okay? So you wanna rub the back of this, that's burnishing. You want to do that. Make sure you go over your entire cityscape, because if you miss a part of it, it won't transfer. And you only have 2 prints here, right? 2 papers that you have painted. So once you have, for certain, rubbed the entire back of it, you're gonna set your paper towel aside. You're going to pay attention to this. You're gonna lift this up, set it to the side. Then you're gonna take your water, fold it up onto your sky, and burnish again. Boys and girls, this is creating your reflection in the water. So you have to do that step like immediately. If you don't, the ink will dry and it will not transfer. So now, once I've done that, I can open it back up and check it out. I have created my reflection. So you can see In the sky, it's more intense black because that's where we printed it, and then we just folded the paper and burnished the ink into the water for that reflection, so it's not, in the water, it wouldn't be quite as intense in color, okay? All right, so I'm gonna repeat that on my second painted paper, this one here. So I might even need to get a little bit more ink. I'm gonna even out the ink again. Pull it back, pick it up, pull it back, pick it up, keep it in that little square. Tilt your cityscape. Roll the ink over the whole surface. Make sure you have the whole thing covered. Once you know you do, set this back down in the ink. Bring your paper over. For me, again, the sky is gonna be the warm colors up here. Pick up your cityscape, set it down in the warm colors. Line it up on the bottom. Once it's in a good spot, take your paper towel, put it over top of there. Burnish the back. Make sure you rub the entire back of it. Once you're done, remember this step's quick. Lift this up, set it aside, fold this up, burnish again. And do that for a little bit until you're ready. Open it up. And done. All right, so here are my two finished projects. If you've printed both of your papers, you can throw away your cityscape on the foam. If you didn't finish printing both, you're gonna need to clean off your cityscape with just plain water, rinse it off, get off all the ink, and then you can put it on the drying rack until our next class.